YouTube, internet people, anyone who happens to be watching this. I am Rebecca, or Becks. I'm 21, I'm a university student in Wellington, New Zealand, and this is not my video blog. I work here. The Rona Gallery is an art gallery and independent bookstore. Me and Alicia decided to start this video blog. We haven't gotten complete approval from Richard and Joanna, who own the gallery, but they haven't vetoed the idea either, so we're just gonna do it. We're hoping the other staff are gonna participate, so Mary, Laurie, Katerina, but we haven't asked them yet. I'm sure they can be coerced into doing a book review or talking about games or music. In this first video blog thing, Alicia, author of A Wizard's Guide to Wellington, will be doing a reading from her book. Yeah, bye.
That's what you need, actually.
Okay.
The chapter I'm reading from is called Missing Persons. It's from the perspective of Alec. Now I know some people might find it really weird that I'm reading a 12-year-old boy's role, and I'm going to try and read it in one go. Come on, Alec, his mother cajoled. We need to go home. But I did see a girl. I told you she was wearing a cloak and... Please stop. I've asked everybody and nobody saw her. You think people wouldn't notice a girl like that? But you can't have asked everybody because I definitely saw her. Besides, Molly stamped her foot and assembled her about to burst into tears face. I don't want him coming home. You promised special mummy and me time. You promised. Yes, it's not fair, Alec agreed. Dad should be here. I shouldn't have to put up with her one more minute. Mum shook her head and pulled her lips so thin they were almost invisible. Be quiet, both of you. Just stop it. We're going home. Look, these things happen, you know. They're almost always misunderstandings. Alec wasn't so sure. And on top of worrying about his dad, he felt a little guilty about the book. He almost rushed back to leave it for the real owner to find, but the bossy voice snapped, Don't even think about it, Alec. I'm not property, I'm a wizard's guide. Too late to worry now, he thought as they piled into the car and Alec's mother revved the engine. A figure in a long black cloak rushed out of the airport. Mutt, he choked, but it wasn't the girl at all. What now? She said. The man turned towards them, nose quivering as if sniffing for something. Alec bit his lip. Nothing, Mum, let's get out of here. The ride home was uncomfortably silent, more so for Alec because Molly kept on staring at him and frowning. Alec stomped in the door. I'm going to my room. Alec, don't sulk. I'm not sulking. He ducked past his mother and up the stairs. And don't be too long, it'll be dinner soon. Okay, Alec called, shutting his door and throwing himself onto his bed. He tried to be angry, but he was dying to get a proper look at the book without other people breathing down his neck. Besides, it made sense his parents would get the day wrong. Maybe the day was next week or tomorrow or whatever. Alone at last, Alec lay out in his bed, took a deep breath and opened the cover. He smelt the sea again, and grass, and a hint of sulphur as out from under the woods, ye good old Wizard's Guide to Wellington, peeked the goblin-y face from the airport. Only it didn't seem quite so goblin-y now, more like an odd cross between a goblin and an elf, with bulging eyes, pointed ears, a long nose, and a winsome smile. Alec jumped as the face grew and kept on growing until it had pushed itself out of the book and peered right at him, its eye magnified to a seemingly impossible size. I only talk to wizards, the book creature said, its voice a mix between concern, amusement, and something Alec couldn't quite place. And you're not a wizard, are you? Alec replied, trying to give himself time to think of an answer to the question. I'm going to be living with my father soon, although I'm with my mother at the moment, and she's not magic at all. The face replied, Are you sure? It's against the rules for me to speak to ordinary people. I'm not ordinary, Alec replied, struggling to think of something about him that was extraordinary. He didn't want to lie. After all, he hadn't lied before, not exactly. He'd only implied his father was a wizard instead of a boring old accountant. The creature, or whatever it was, peered at Alec a bit longer. Well, I guess you can see me, so it must be all right. Anyway, young whippersnapper, let me introduce myself. I am Ike, your guide to the best wizarding centre in the world. You do realise Wellington is a bit out of the way and dangerous. Are you sure your father left you here all by yourself with, you know, only normal people? Alec almost choked. Dangerous? How? He asked. He'd never really thought of Wellington as dangerous before, but then again, up to this moment, he'd never really thought of his family as normal either. Well, there was that cave troll that escaped. Absolute havoc then. Oh, what? You're kidding. There's no such thing. Yes, there is. I saw it. Standing right there in Civic Square, bold as brass, and on top of everything else, there were even some calls to bulldoze the place. The whole of Wellington. Imagine that, but of course it won't happen, because it's such a fantastic tourist destination. Alec's door flew open. Mum, you found Dad? No, not yet, but it's all okay. Mrs. B says your dad's out of the country for a couple of days on business. Alec's eyes widened. It's not like Dad to do that without saying. No, some kind of emergency apparently, and they was nobody by the name of Perry or Perrin Kettleson on any flight today, so there's nothing to worry about. She smiled. Come on, hurry up, dinner's getting cold. Okay, just a sec, Alex said, and waited for the door to close before hiding the book under his pillow. Stay out of sight, you hear, he said, just before Molly burst into his room. I saw it, I want it, she said. I don't know what you mean. Alex tried not to look back as he dragged himself downstairs. Molly followed him. You might not think I can see it, but I can. He gritted his teeth. Molly, go away or I'll steal all your fairy books. Molly glared. You wouldn't. Then leave my books alone. I need to ring Dad. Maybe. Oh, Mum already has. Lots. Molly clasped her hands in front of her chin and shook her head. She says, there's nothing to worry about. Then she rings up again. Alex shook his head. It made no sense. Dad had organised this months ago in the same precise way he'd organised everything. He labelled all his tools and hung them against silhouettes he'd drawn for them on the wall. He wrote anything important on cards so Mum wouldn't forget. He told everyone months before he went anywhere. And he was never late. Everything in its right place and at the right time. That was his Dad. It might have been boring, except Dad made the smallest thing exciting, as if an adventure was hiding around the corner. Molly burst into tears. I think Dad's been stolen, she said. Dad's fine, Alec reassured her. In his heart, he knew it was a lie.
Cool. So that was Alicia reading from her book. Art competition. Artwork for the competition is due on the 11th and 12th of February, so you're probably a bit late. But the book launch and the art competition is going to be on the 14th. This video has been really awful. I know that. She doesn't want to say that, but she knows that.
You never say it's been really awful.
Yes, you can.
This video's been fun. We've been really rubbish.
We're being really rubbish, and it's been really fun, but it's still really awful. It's okay.
Cut that.
No, we don't have to cut anything out.